Most African politicians, I'm very reluctant to use the word leaders when I make reference to most African politicians. They occupy positions of leadership, but they are not leaders, most of them.
Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're watching me from. I'm your host Larry, and to my new subscribers, I want you to feel welcomed on board. To my returning subscribers, I want you to know that you're much welcomed and feel at home. This is your best channel that uncovers the hidden stories around the world, or mostly around Jamaica and around our country Africa. So in today's video, I sampled people's view, or rather what people has to say on the difference between a politician and a leader. So let's have a look, and then I'll be back with more comments.
Don't ever believe that a politician is a leader. Don't ever believe that. Because the system that we have produces politicians. It doesn't produce leaders. And so you can have a politician who knows nothing about leadership and he's leading you. Politicians are concerned about the next election. That's all they're interested in. That's why they cannot be leaders. But leaders are different. Leaders are concerned about the next generation. I want you to compare those two thoughts the next time you have a politician come to your house wanting to vie for your vote. Just ask him, what is your vision for my children? I will sit and listen for 20 minutes for you to tell me what it is. He will leave your house because he has no interest in your children's children. His concern is to stay in power, to keep the position, to win the next election. This is why they cannot lead. When you are going to have a conversation with a politician, you should actually try this as a test. You, by the way, as a citizen of a community, you have a right to be seen by the mayor. Hope you know that. If you voted for a mayor, the mayor works for you. Therefore, you have a right to see him. You can make an appointment to see any public officer you voted for. Did you know that? That's your legal right. If he don't want to see you, you can take him to court. That's democracy. So I want you to make an appointment to go and see your mayor or go and see your governor and just sit and say, I want 30 minutes with you, sir. And ask him about that list right there. Now, sir, what is your purpose for being in leadership in this city? What is your purpose? The first question will make him very nervous. Second question, what is your passion for our community? He'll be wondering what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I just want to build roads and bridges and provide jobs. No. What is your passion? And this is why we need to question the leaders we have. And so I have a little thought here. I call it politics versus leadership. Let's talk about it for a second. Number one, politicians focus on programs, not vision. Number two, politicians' priority is securing the next election, not securing the next generation. Their focus is different. Number three, politicians are preoccupied with promises, not purpose. What we need is statesmen, stateswomen. We don't need more politicians. A statesman is an interesting human. A statesman thinks of the next generation.
Most African politicians, I'm very reluctant to use the word leaders when I make reference to most African politicians. They occupy positions of leadership, but they are not leaders, most of them. First of all, the intention with which they enter into leadership is the problem. They seek office because they love power and privilege and opportunity that it provides to them. They want to become wealthy. And the easiest and shortest avenue to wealth in Africa today is public office. With the minimum effort, you become a multi-millionaire. They go there in order to be worshipped. And they go there not to do the right thing. And once they have been in office, they do so many wrong things that it becomes dangerous for them to leave office. So their continued occupation of office is also to ensure that they enjoy immunity that comes with office. But when you are a good leader who does the right thing, you do not fear to leave office because nothing has changed. And I've seen leaders of that ilk in this part of the continent. And there are quite a number of sprinkling of leaders who have left office and are doing great things. Joaquim Chissano in Mozambique. Ifikepunye Pohamba in Botswana. People like my good friend Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, Ali Hassan Mwinyi in Tanzania, Benjamin William Mkapa, Joaquim Chissano, as I've said, of Mozambique. These are people who have left office and nothing is happening to them because they are men and women of integrity. John Mahama of Ghana. There are quite a number of them now across the continent who do not fear being out of office, and they are doing great things once they leave office. But there are others who will never leave office, because the day they leave office holding all factors constant, they ought to be arrested, because they are thieves and murderers. These are the highest crimes known to man. How can they leave office? And we know them.
There is a huge difference between leaders and politicians. Politicians are liars. Leaders tell the truth. Politicians beg people to get them into office. Leaders are begged by people to enter into office. Politicians worry about the next election. Leaders worry about the progress and the vision of the country. Politicians measure success by material gain that they got from stealing from the public, of course. Leaders measure success by the progress of the country. Politicians are populist in their developmental plans. Leaders do the right thing. Even when people don't see the point presently, they'll see it in the future. Politicians hire people who are incompetent. Politicians hire people who are useless. Politicians surround themselves with people who, with yes men for self-aggrandizement. But leaders surround themselves with people who are even more intelligent than him or her. Leaders surround themselves with people who are even more competent than him or her. Leaders surround themselves with people who are willing to challenge the leader. That's the difference between a politician and a leader. In short, what I'm trying to say is that we have many politicians. We have little to no leaders. We should strive, we as the African race should strive for leadership over politicians. Leadership over politics, and I think that should be the mantra. That should be the hashtag, leadership over politics. I'd rather take a poor politician who happens to be a good leader than a good politician who happens to be a poor leader.
I am not a politician. I'm not joking, I am a soldier. And I prefer to tell you the truth. Everyone is free to take or leave. Everyone drives around in their car. Everyone is living well. We eat in the morning, we eat for lunch, we eat at night. We do what we want to do. We are free to talk about saying what we want. It's democracy, it's the right, that's all. That's all we know about in Ouagadougou. But go ahead and see the children who have skin on their bones. Go see those who are starving. Go see those women who can no longer breastfeed because they have nothing left in their breasts. Go see them. Let's not pretend. If our journalists do not have the courage to go to the field and bring you these images, it's because we want to wash the image of Burkina. I tell you that it is false. It exists. When I tell you about the people who eat the grass, whoever wants to challenge, I'll bring him tomorrow. Go see, it continues. It has not even stopped. Because we were able to supply some villages, but others not yet. We are still on the way. No civilian can even support with trucks so that we can be in solidarity with this population. What integrity is this? What is integrity, Burkina Faso? What is it? This lack of support has deeply unsettled and revolted us. Until we address the core issues plaguing this country, we will always be revolted. For the moment, we've managed to secure some trucks in the army and have been using our own means to transport supplies. However, this hasn't really added much support for the starving populations. And even in this, there's been a distinct lack of empathy. Citizens knew about the situation, but they've remained on the sidelines. It is to say that solidarity has disappeared in Burkina. Have pity for the people. Have pity for the youth. Have pity for the children. What did these villagers do? So that when the sun sets, they find themselves in the caves under the trees. They leave the village, and in the morning they show up. They look to see if everything is okay before coming back. They sleep in the bush. They can't sleep at home. We don't tell you these truths. This is the reality of Burkina. We only see our cities. We are responsible for what happens to us, and we will be fully responsible for what follows. Either it's good or it's bad. It will depend on our behavior in the future. Everyone has to give their best. I think we can do it. I am optimistic. I hope we will get there.
Once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and to my new subscribers, thank you. To my returning subscribers, again, thank you. So in this video, I think we've heard what people had to say, and by now I know that you are aware, or rather you know your leader. By now you know your leader. If he's a politician, or rather leader, by now you know that that person in power in your government, or rather in your area, you know what he is after. So first of all, these politicians that we assume that they are leaders, they are oppressing us, they are sellouts, they are greedy. Why am I saying that? Recently, we've had claims on Jamaica, on Jamaican government, and those in power for selling out the Jamaicans. They are selling out the Jamaica's most precious parts to the foreigners, to the whites, to the Chinese. Why are they doing that? The Jamaicans fought for that freedom. They fought for this freedom away from the whites, away from the yellow. But now you're taking what belongs to them back to those who they took it from. They reclaimed what was theirs from these people you are now selling them to. You're making this thing, or rather the Jamaicans, feel like what their forefathers, their grands, what they fought for was all in vain, because they are now losing it again. Our leaders are being greedy, so much greedy. They are being lured by mouth-watering offers to sell out their precious lands, their precious beaches, They are being lied to. The Chinese, they come and build a road. That's just to fool those in power in Jamaica. That this is for them. They are doing it for their benefits. No, no, no. They are not doing it for their benefits. They are doing it for their own Chinese benefits, not for the benefits of the Jamaicans. We've seen the beaches. The Jamaican government have sold these beaches to the Chinese, to the whites. And now these people, they are building it high-end, the 5-star hotels. And at the end, they make them so private to a point, but no Jamaican is allowed nearby the beaches. Because they actually feel like they are fellows, they're whites, they're yellows. When they come, they'll see the blacks. And mostly that it will make them lose value. We mostly know that these people are racist. Go to China and see what the Chinese are doing to the blacks. And then you'll tell me if this is right or wrong. There's an example. You can see how African leaders, when they went to London, you can see how they were welcomed. They were all packed in a bus. All of them packed in a bus, like passengers. And they all smiling because that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And the same African leaders, they are bowing, they are puppets to these white, they're puppets to these Chinese. Because of their mouth-watering offers that they give to them. They take the money and put it back, or rather put it into their own pockets. Our leaders are greedy. They take this money and they leave us to suffer. They are oppressing us. We chose them into power, but they are oppressing us. The same people we believed in to help us. So guys, I hope by now you know who's in power in your area, or rather in your country. You now know if he's a politician who only cares about the next election, or a leader. So I'm your host Larry, and until we meet again, peace out.